We all love our diffusion filters these days, but they come with a couple of problems. The most important one being that you can't undo the effect in post. What if I told you there's a solution for this? It's a software for Davinci Resolve called Scatter from the company Video Village. This video isn't sponsored, but I did get to try the software for 1 year since it looked interesting to me. The software allows you to add an accurate diffusion effect to your footage in post. It's super easy to do this. It has 16 different diffusion effects with different strengths in each effect. I shot a couple of shots at my desk to show the difference using my diffusion filters and scatter. The first one is shot using the quarter strength Short Stretch Black Pro Mist CPL filter. And in this one I used the Black Pro Mist quarter effect from Scatter. This one is shot using the Short Stretch half Black Pro Mist / CPL filter. And in this one I used the half strength Black Pro Mist effect from Scatter. So this is some example footage shot without a diffusion filter, but we are going to add the Black Pro Mist effect in post with Scatter. Dialing in this effect is pretty easy. Here you pick the source of your footage. In my instance, it's Cineon. Here you select the filter effect. Here you can dial in the strength. And here you can amplify or reduce the effect of the active filter. And then we have the focal length. The size of diffusion falloff typically varies with the field of view of the lens or the sensor. The profiled filters have been calibrated for a 50mm lens on a super 35mm sensor. This slider reduces or enlarges the falloff to approximate other fields of view expressed in millimeters of focal length on super 35mm. When a sensor clips a colorful light source, the resulting diffusion in scatter may end up appearing white because the chrominance of the pixels at the core of the source was not recorded. The highlight color recovery module attempts to rebuild color information in blown-out highlight regions by considering the hue of neighboring pixels so diffusion can be calculated more naturally. This is the radius around the clipped pixels that are used to rebuild color. Larger clipped image regions may need larger radius. This boosts the saturation of the rebuilt color. The luminance threshold above which a pixel is considered to be clipped and recovery is performed, measured in number of stops above middle gray. That's the cutoff. Manually amplify or reduce diffused highlights either for creative effect or to compensate for clipped highlights that should be brighter than what the sensor was able to record. Disabling the gang strength gives separate RGB colors to change the color balance of diffused highlights. The diffusion can be influenced by light beyond the bounds of the image. In some cases, the default mode, mirrored, can cause glints similar to a gate flare if a very bright source is near the edges of a frame. If this behavior is not desirable, the blend property can be reduced or a different mode can be selected. With the vignette mode, there is no extrapolation beyond image bounds. The mirrored mode mirrors the image beyond image bounds. Your repeated mode repeats pixels on the borders of the image beyond the image bounds. And blend decreases the strength of mirrored or repeated pixels. Let's go over the downsides first, so we have that out of the way. The initial investment price for this software is kind of steep. It's not cheap by any means. But if you look at it from a zoomed out perspective, it's not actually that expensive, because a good diffusion filter costs between $100 and $150. And if we want to match certain filters with certain lenses, and we want to have multiple effects and multiple strengths, then the amount can get quite easily up to $300, $400, $500 or even more. So let's take $300. For $200 more, you could get the perpetual license of this software, and you would have all of these effects and all of these strengths for your entire life. Alright, so this downside turned into kind of a positive. So let's just continue with the positives. No more hassle of changing filters, not having to stack filters. You can't damage the software because it's just inevitable to get scratches on your filters. And there was this one time where I put my filter into my back pocket, and obviously I sat on it and the filter shattered. It sucked. Not having to buy a filter without knowing what the effect will be, the freedom of doing it in post instead of baking it into your footage. No flares or light loss, it's actually color neutral, the effect is maskable and keyframeable, and you can use it for photos as well if you add photos to Davinci Resolve. So overall, this is a pretty cool software that will save you a lot of money in the long run, especially if you want to use multiple effects and you don't want to spend all that money on filters, and you just want to avoid all that extra hassle. In the end, Davinci Resolve might add this to the future, but until then, I think this is a great software that everyone could benefit of. I don't have an affiliate link for this software, but I just wanted to give you another valuable tool to make greater videos. By the way, if you want to improve your filmmaking even further, check out this video as well, because over there I share some creative shot ideas.